Today we're going to look at the new features in BluePrint 7.1. Whenever we release a new version of the software, we always include a release highlights. And what these release highlights are is any new features, functionality that's been added to the tool. We list those at the top in a list, if you will. Then we go into how to use each of those features. And then at the bottom of this release highlights, you'll see any defects that have been fixed in this release. This applies to our builds as well. If you're not familiar with our builds, that's the interim releases we do between, say, 15 or 7 and 7.1 or 15 and 15.1. And they may have slight enhancements or defect fixes in them. So those are listed in here with each new release. The next section deals with licensing. In this particular release, the licensing does require a new license manager, which is included in the install media, as well as a new license. Now, if you're using a standalone or a MAC address based license, you may be able to get away with using your old license, but we do always recommend with each new release to install the license that comes with it, because it is your latest license and the expiration date is further out. So you'll always be up to date with your licensing if you do it this way. Here is the new functionality in BluePrint. We're going to take some time and go through each one of these and take a look at how you can use these in your day-to-day work with the BluePrint tool. The first feature is our integration with XPEDITION and Pads Professional, two tools from Siemens, the old Mentor Graphics. We now integrate into their menu system with BluePrint, and you are given an option to start a new BluePrint document or update an existing BluePrint document when you launch BluePrint from XPEDITION or Pads Professional. You'll get a choice whether you want to use IPC 2581 or ODB, and then you'll also get the option to use a wizard, which is really just a quick way to get a document set out, or skip that and go straight to your templates that you've created, which you've customized. So if you're just starting out, you might try the wizard, but for the most part, people skip that and go straight into their existing document set. The next feature I'd like to show you has to do with rigid flex stack-ups. We've made a few changes in here. Probably the most significant one is the dimensioning options. So if I go in here and format my rigid flex stack up, I can go to dimensions, I can pick the stack up, or I can put dimensions on all of them. So let's just do one for rigid A, get a preview on that. And then we can continue to add these if we want. We'll add one for the flex. And you can mix, the copper to copper or the glass to glass dimensions if you want to. And of course, tolerancing is available. Let's put some over on the right just so it's not as busy. And we'll do one more here for the last stack up. Another new feature is that the STACKUPs themselves can be labeled. So we knew this was rigid A because we're the designer, but the person downstream doesn't know that. So let's just turn on the names for all the STACKUPs here. And you can choose where you want those to show. I can do a preview to see what they're going to look like. Say OK to that. And there is the additions to the STACKUP information in version 7.1. We've added a new type of mill tab in both our tools, and that is the square mill tab, which I would argue for years is not possible with a round router bit, and that's absolutely true because we're going to punch them out. We're not going to use the router bit, or we're going to use a combination of the two. So if I go over here to my milling manager, I can create different types of mill tabs, and one of the ones that's available to me is one with square in mill tabs. And I have a little preview of here. I've already saved this off to my gallery, so we'll get out of here, and I'm just going to go in and start editing this panel. Add a web route here. And then I'm just going to drag and drop the square mill tab. And if I'm putting multiples in there, I'll probably make it my default one. And what that means is that if I just do a drag and drop, that's what it grabs. And then I can put it only a location that'll accept a mill tab. Same idea down here between the boards here. And that's what it looks like, the square mill tab. Along with that idea is the mill tab detail. If I place a mill tab detail, I can choose the square mill tab now. And it will show up with all the dimensions already there. So if we're going to have square mill tabs, it only stands to reason that we might have to add route segments that are squared off as well. And I'm just going to zoom in on this one and format it just to show you that we have added that option as well. So square ends, OK. And that works with both the route segment and the route arcs can have square ends. A request we've gotten, it seems like mostly from defense contractors, is that they want to show on their non-plates not only the symbol, and these are the non-plates on this design, but also a round indicator of the drill as well. So with this release, we have given you a way of doing that. We have our drill pattern here. We'll go ahead and format it. Go out to our drill and mill, and we're going to take those 100 holes and have both the symbol as well as the hole. And you can do either or, but if you want both, you would do it that way. OK, OK, and there you go. In BluePrint, we have both magnify view as well as exploded view. The magnify really is just that. All it does is magnify the view. The exploded view allows you to show different data. But here's an example of the magnify view. And one of the options we put into the explode view was the ability to hide things you've added here on the board if you just want to show the data from the where we're magnifying here. So you can go into your magnify view, format it, and tell it to exclude drawing elements. Say OK to that. And now we're just seeing that section of the board. Like I said, this has been an exploded view, and we just added it to magnify view as well. One issue that would come out from time to time on STACKUPs would be on our via STACKUP, where we placed a pictorial of the vias. Sometimes you would have so many of them that that would kind of run together, or you would have to redo your STACKUP. So we'll put a new option in here that you can adjust the distance between the vias in a via STACKUP. So you would go out here to custom column spacing, and you would reduce this number. Let's try 0.5 and see what that looks like. And as you can see, it's a little bit tighter doing it that way. So it just gives you more control, when, especially when you have lots and lots of drilled holes like this in a design. We have some customers that have 24 partial drills. And as you can imagine, if you're spreading those out, that could take up the entire page. So this helps you reduce it and cleans up your drawing set. Document variables are very powerful part of BluePrint, and giving the user the ability to create their own document variables. So this list, which only has like 6 items in it now, could have 20, 30 items. So one of the requests that we got was the ability to sort these either ascending or descending, just so a little enhancement there, just to make it easier for you to deal with it when you are populating your document variables. So one more item that we've enhanced with this release is API support. So people were looking to use automation when dealing with our STACKUP visualizer and modifying STACKUP. So we've added a whole bunch of API support here to the tool. Okay, different commands that can be recorded and included in a script or macro. One of the items that comes up from time to time is what constitutes a range of reference designator? Is it 2 or is it 3? We have a group of users who want to see it 3 or more and not 2, which was what we've done in the past. So we gave you the ability to do that. I can go out to the parts list manager and go to preferences here and tell it to display reference designators as a range if it's 3 or more. If I turn that off, and you'll see some of these change here when I do that, it'll rebuild our master table based off of that. Okay, so now as you can see, U28 through U29, it's only 2, whereas we needed 3 the way it was set there previously, or if you check that item. One other item here, improved font support for PDF import and export. Adobe changes this type of stuff quite a bit, and to keep up with it, we've had to enhance BluePrint to deal with the different type of PDF exports that they allow with this, with either Unicode encoding or other encoding. So more support for it. You should see cleaner PDFs both importing and exporting from BluePrint. And as I mentioned at the beginning, this is our list of defect fixes. You may, if you have a tracking number and you're looking for a particular defect, you can go out here and look for it. And it's not always just defects. Sometimes those are minor enhancements that don't change the database. Those can be fixed and are just thrown into our list there. But these are the enhancement new features in BluePrint 7.1. Thank you.